proudly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
I'm Joe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turn-offs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff? The child wasn't his, and you still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I was like the kiss. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad touch routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
You like it when it pinches my nips.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man who's on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you rate women so well?
Joe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
If you often feel worried about somebody you love or disappointed or upset by their choices or like your emotions revolve around whether they're doing well or not, then you are in the right place. I'm Dr. Abby Metcalf, and today you'll learn the 3 steps to practicing loving detachment and stop your codependency. Please subscribe to this channel. It would mean a lot to me. And, give a like to the video and definitely share it with anyone you think it might help. So, there are 3 steps to understanding loving detachment and learning that I have come up with in my 35 years of doing work directly with people. And it's this. It's understanding your own motives, learning acceptance, and creating clear boundaries. So let's get to it. So step 1, again, understanding your motives. You got to know why you're being codependent in a moment. So I'm going to share a little. I've got a 17-year-old son who does not take school seriously and won't put in much effort. We have made many interventions, but he continues really to make some what I think are horrible choices that are screwing up his future. Now, and being the Boston Jewish mother that I am, I can become really controlling, frustrated, angry with him. And as you might imagine, he doesn't like it. It ends up in less communication. More digging in on his side, and really our relationship worsens, and our relationship is important. It's the last thing he needs is not to get along. So I have to continually work on lovingly detaching from what he's doing. Now, it doesn't mean I don't still actively parent him. Of course I do. But it means I see where my own anxiety and fear for his future are driving my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions. I have to look at my motive, why. And you do too. And when I get in charge of that and get into compassion and the love that I have for him, it's a very different interaction. The other motive that might be driving your codependent bus, it's likely your own low self-esteem. I say with love, but it's true. Maybe you only feel good when you're feeling needed by other people or when they're validating you in some way. Every time you step in to take care of someone else's life or choice, you're really depriving them of the opportunity to accomplish something and feel good about it themselves. So you really don't want to do this. It's not kind. Step 2, don't just love, accept. So, accepting what our loved ones do can be really, really hard, hence my share about my son. And I recently spoke to a client, for example, who was upset because her adult daughter, who makes a lot of money, wouldn't help her son, the girl's brother. And my client was really upset and went on about what her daughter should do and how she raised her to be thoughtful and generous. And she went on about how her son had some hard knocks that her daughter hadn't had, and that her sister.
Ladies and gentlemen, hour number 2, you already know what it is. The Voice of Reason is live from KBLA Talk 1580. Tonight's topic, I've got to protect me first, a deeper look at detachment in intimate relationships. Man, it's going to be heavy. Agree or disagree, emotional detachment can manifest when a person strictly avoids uncomfortable situations. We want to talk about it. I'm talking about how you can use detachment to cultivate self-growth, self-awareness, She was talking about loving detachment, to still be present empathetically, to still be present lovingly, but emotionally detached. Heavy skill set right there. We got a lot of callers on the line who want to talk about it, right? And like I told you earlier today, practicing detachment in intimate relationships, yes, it can have a profound impact on patterns of communication and conflict management. Yes, it can. Improved emotional regulation, enhanced empathy and active listening, reduced reactivity and defensiveness, focus on solutions and compromise, setting healthy boundaries, increased emotional intimacy, decreased codependency, enhanced problem-solving skills, nurturing emotional well-being. All of this is available. Cultivating a growth mindset. If you would just detach from the negativity or the sting of the emotions that come with it. In conclusion, practicing detachment in intimate relationships could positively impact patterns of communication and conflict management, improve emotional regulation, enhanced empathy, and decreased reactivity. It could foster healthier interactions, leading to more constructive communication and a greater emotional well-being. This is all available if you learn how to practice it. Again, detachment is not avoidance. We have to make that distinction, right? We have to make that distinction. Sometimes you have to detach from negative feelings. Sometimes you are emotionally overwhelmed, and sometimes you have to take the time to just feel those emotions. When is the time? Do you have the discernment to differentiate? I want to know. The voice of reason is on fire tonight. I'm about to call in some folks right now. You already know. Attila from Houston, Texas is in the building. Talk to me.
What up, Uncle Joe? How are you?
I'm alive and well. How are you?
Same. So I wanted to kind of get more clarity on the detachment versus emotional avoidance, because I practice detachment like a skill. It's important for me as someone who gets overwhelmed emotionally easily, and I don't often express that, and it doesn't necessarily come through on my face either all the time. So I kind of have no point but to practice it. I see it as like a reset, not an ending. But I don't know. What do you think?
So I covered emotional avoidance earlier, right? And people who have survived a traumatic experience often engage in behaviors that help them deal with difficult memories and experiences, right? As well as the emotions that accompany them. If a person feels overwhelmed or unable to cope, emotional avoidance can keep bad feelings away. And like I said, emotional avoidance behavior, we outlined these earlier, right? Self-medicating with alcohol and other drugs, avoiding places and activities that cause you to re-experience an event. Remember, the body is the one that actually keeps score in traumatized people. Your body is going to respond if you're in a place that's reminiscent of a place where you were initially traumatized. So an inability to feel love, right? An inability to recall critical elements of the traumatic event that you experienced. Feeling decreased interest in your family and friends, right? Again, this is emotional avoidance. And emotional avoidance, you see, sprinkles of that, what this is being clarified as, with fearful avoidance. People who have a fearful avoidant attachment style. Dismissive avoidance go through something a little different. A dismissive avoidant was somebody who was raised in an environment that marginalized their full emotional spectrum. So they may have praised them for certain emotional behaviors and then criticized them or marginalized or minimized them for others. When that happens, the avoidant person goes inward to self-soothe. They go inward to kind of deal with their own stuff. And so when they come into adult relationships, when they attract certain people, they may attract anxious, preoccupied, because they want to pour in, they want to lean in. And the dismissive avoidant is a bit uncomfortable with that because they've been programmed to do it for themselves all this time. That's a different type of avoidance. This is emotional avoidance, which is I don't want to feel anything that is reminiscent of what I've been through. Detachment, on the other hand, is you making a conscious choice to say, I'm not going to be involved. This is, I'm not going to be involved because I see where this is going. I see what this is about. That's the difference. The other ones, your attachment style or emotional avoidance seems to be prompted by some type of third-party event, a traumatic event, or some type of person, caregiver that actually helped cultivate the attachment style. This right here, this attachment is you saying, I'm going to put me first, right? Because what I don't want to do is come into a situation half-cocked with a bunch of expectations and beliefs for somebody that if they don't fulfill them, I might fly off the handle. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
All right,
sure.
All right. I hope I helped.
No, you're right. I mean, I would say this too. In regards to detachment versus like emotionally avoidance. I know if I have peace with a certain situation, meaning like I don't feel any like residual guilt or shame or anything like that, and I'm just like peaceful with it, then I know that I'm just detaching. And I think people can confuse the two if they're on the receiving end of the action.
So being at peace means what to you?
Meaning that, like, there's no anxiety. I'm not stressing about the situation. Like, I kind of just feel like, well, you know, it is what it is. Like, and in some situations, I feel like sometimes you're left with no choice because of the choice that the other person made. And so, you know, you kind of have the choice but to really accept whatever's going on. And so that kind of forces you into a period of detachment. I mean, I would also say, too, with detachment, I'm still feeling every emotion, every piece of sadness, whatever the case, you know, lack, all of that is still there. Like, there's no avoidance in it. It's obviously clearly present, and I have to force myself to work through it, right, in order to get a better understanding. Whereas when I'm emotionally avoidant, there is none of that. I mean, it's kind of like you said, you start relying on other means to block you and distract you. So I would say, like, those two things are, like, principal in the difference.
I love it. Attila from Houston, Texas. You brought your city in the building. You already know what it is. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. We're going to go all over the country because I want to talk to everybody. Are you detached? And are you protecting yourself through detachment? I want to know. 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, more from the phone line.
The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings will disappear. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
At Granger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way. Offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids to work to friends and everything in between, you have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movement, learning how you sleep so you learn to sleep better night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition Smart Bed, plus special financing ends Monday. See store for details.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
You know you want some more. More. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Detach from someone without withdrawing your love. That's what this week's topic is, because detachment is a lifesaver in relationships. It's going to preserve your sanity and create healthy boundaries for you. But first, my name is Michelle Ferris. I'm a psychotherapist, and I love helping people create relationships that work. So don't forget to stay until the end, where I give you a bonus tip on where you can find the best support for detaching with love. So here are a few examples of when detachment works. When you have a partner that's yelling at you and you don't know how to get out of it. Or maybe you have a loved one with some annoying habits that you just can't let go of. Or maybe your partner is mistreating you. Or maybe you're trying to change or fix somebody else's behavior. In all of these situations, detachment with love can be a lifesaver. So what is detachment? Detachment is letting someone else experience their consequences without trying to fix or change what's happening for them. It's really giving them the dignity to take care of themselves and make their own choices. So detaching creates a healthy boundary between you and the other person. And it definitely is going to be able to protect yourself in certain situations. For example, you love somebody that drinks too much. Instead of trying to rescue them and get them sober, you realize you're really wasting a lot of precious energy and letting them figure it out for themselves. can be a way to detach with love without overstepping your boundaries.
I got to cut her off. What about detaching from the person who claims they love you, but they withhold all lovingness from you? Sometimes you got to break up with your expectation that they're going to come around. Huh? Sometimes it's you hurting you by holding on to an expectation for another. Detach. They need you. They want you in a certain capacity. But they don't want you. They want you for something. But they don't want you. And so they hold on to you while holding on to others, using you as a virtual relationship Walgreens, CVS. You have the supplements they need. Maybe the person they're holding on to, giving them something that you're not. Right? Sometimes you got to detach from people who treat you like that. You might be holding on to the outcome that you've always wanted. You might be holding on to a perceived idea that, maybe they'll change. Maybe they'll shift. And do you understand what I'm saying? For a lot of people, it is easy to detach from the people you have hope, right, in. Like, I hope this works. I hope they turn around. Sometimes it's easier to detach from the person you want to change than it is for many people to detach from the expectations they had for the person. I know that's a heavy way to look at it, but that's how it is for many people. Detachment can indeed serve as both a temporary phase to foster personal growth and a long-term approach to maintaining emotional well-being in relationships. The appropriateness of attachment's duration depends on individual circumstances and the specific emotional needs of each person involved. Look. I want you to go into this. We know emotional or detachment can provide emotional regulation and clarity. We know that, right? Emotional detachment can also provide breaking codependent patterns. We know that. Emotional detachment can also bring about boundaries, right? Healthy boundaries, which I call soundries, and better communication. Detachment can also bring about emotional resilience. It could also help prevent emotional enmeshment. By practicing long-term detachments, individuals can avoid emotional enmeshment where their identity becomes too closely intertwined with their partners. This fosters individuality and maintains a sense of self within a relationship. It can reduce codependency, right? It can create healthy emotional boundaries. There's a lot of benefits. We're not talking about emotional avoidance. We're not talking about being dismissive and avoidant. We're talking about making a conscious effort to actually regulate one's emotions, to regulate one's perspective. This is hard to do, but it can be fulfilling. We got callers on the line. Let's get them in here. Who's been on the longest? Mimi. Come on, Mimi, Jacksonville, Florida. Get in here.
Hey, Zoe. Hey, everyone.
What up, Mimi? Welcome to the show.
I am team self-protection.
Clearly.
Okay, that was shade.
That wasn't no shade. That's just based on who you are and who you've been since you've been calling. That's a fair guess on my end. Go ahead.
Sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have established that I am a hopeful romantic. I know it's a bit Disney. I know that. But I'm doing my work, and I've learned, and I knew before, but I know now even more, that it would be helpful for me to detach from some of my beliefs about marriage, relationships, love, because I am emotional. You know, I love love, and, you know, I do get disappointed because I have had unrealistic expectations, or I would say super romantic expectations. And I know that love and relationships, you know, love is messy. It's not perfect. I know that. But I think I just really couldn't detach from, why can't we just be happy? You know what I'm saying? If we both come in wanting a healthy, loving relationship, why do we have to have all the crazy stuff? Why can't we just be happy? Why can't it just be a simple thing? But I realize love isn't simple.
Right. Right. It's unfortunate, but it's not. But I appreciate the wisdom. Thank you so much, Mimi. You brought some real clarity to me today, and I appreciate it. You got a seat at the table anytime you want. That was Jacksonville, Florida. If you want to bring your city in the building, you know the routine. All you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Let's get Eric from Annapolis, Maryland on the line. Eric, get in here.
What's going on, Zoe? Good topic tonight. I'm definitely enjoying the show. First and foremost, the idea of a detachment, it takes work. It takes competence. It takes courage. It takes the willingness to want to work towards detachment to reattach. And we know we're dealing with people in this society and how we approach relationships. People can't even break up with the idea of how they perceive relationships in the first place. So, like you mentioned earlier, people usually have like a splenetic type of viewpoint when it comes to detachment, because they've been conditioned to believe, if I detach, it's going to make me heal, it's going to make me better. I got to get away from the things that trigger me, or these trigger words, or like boundaries as we create in society when it comes to relationships. It gives us a safe space to feel comfortable in our wounds, but we're really not healing for real. We just kind of like getting away and being evasive with the truth of who we are for real.
But wait,
so I think overall,
what does healing for real actually mean? So look, hold your thought. Okay. When we come forward, please answer that question. When we return, it's going to be on fire. Eric from Annapolis, Maryland is in here cooking right now. Because I hear people talk about this all the time, like healing for real. What does real healing actually look like? When we come forward, more from the VOR.
I let you know the reason I saw her with another guy. Within is love. Why do I feel this way? Why does she stay on my mind? Within is love. Why does it hurt so bad? Make me feel so sad inside.
It's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Alabama, more details are expected soon on Montgomery's riverfront fight that made national headlines. Black Mayor Stephen Reed is prepared to hold a news conference on the matter tomorrow. The massive brawl was caught on camera from several angles, but few official details about what led up to it have been released. A new study shows just 1 in 5 adults addicted to opioids get medication to treat it. The National Institute on Drug Abuse and Prevention says white people are much more likely than black people to receive treatment. Experts say the growth of telemedicine appointments can help close these treatment disparities. The Little Mermaid, starring black actress Halle Bailey, is set to hit Disney Plus next month. The live-action adaptation of the classic story will debut on the streaming service on September 6th. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Does your band have what it takes to make In-N-Out history? You're invited to compete at In-N-Out's Battle of the Bands for a chance to perform in front of thousands at In-N-Out Burger's 75th Anniversary Festival on October 22nd. Visit INOBattleOfTheBands.com for more details.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Dominique DePrima here. Having a good credit score is one critical step to obtain a loan to buy a home. But did you know that your credit score is just one factor in getting a mortgage loan? Think about this. Lenders also consider your income, your employment history, current monthly debts, the size of the loan, and the amount of your down payment. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives support you in reaching them. Access your personal financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new play. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Wake up, people. You're optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids to work to friends and everything in between. You have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movement, learning how you sleep so you learn to sleep better night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition Smart Bed, plus special financing ends Monday. See store for details.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus Next Day Energy with melatonin plus extended release B vitamins.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Joe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, silly me myself thinking that you'd stay. Gave you my heart and then you ran away. Either I'm stupid or foolish and you'll tame me. It seems we were never really meant to be. So I thought I would try something new. I wanted to find out if I could live happy without you. And it turned out I wasn't living at all. But I would have never known if you had just played alone. I was living a dream, believing things that just ain't true. Oh, I can't believe I ever believed in you. Yeah, I was chasing fool's gold. I was chasing fool's gold. I was chasing fool's gold. Somewhere deep down inside I knew you wasn't right. But breaking the spell was a plan I never devised. I would have been here forever, there in front of you. But I would have been living forever at your phone.
If you are somebody who has attachment to people, especially anxious attachment, which I guess this video will be so useful for, detachment is going to be your most powerful tool to use. I think my story, in essence, is before I learnt the art and the power of detachment, I was like a piece of a log, a stick in the ocean where I could be thrown from one side to the other according to how another person felt or what happened. Now, detachment is not, and I'll go into this more later, completely disregarding or ignoring your feelings, but it's often talked about when it comes to ideas in your life that you really wanted to happen, like marriage, having children, things that you cannot control, essentially. You cannot control what partner you're going to meet, and furthermore, you cannot control what that person does. It's the conscious acknowledgement that you cannot control other people and you will drive yourself crazy if you try. You cannot do it. So in trying to do it, in trying to check their phone, and trying to look through their messages, in trying to drive yourself crazy in the idea of control, you're actually hurting yourself. You cannot find and you will not find safety in trying to control another human being or an outcome. And that's what you're searching for, right? If you're anxious in life, you're searching for a stability, a groundedness, and you won't find it in them. You're going to find it in you. So you need to create a space and a temple in your own reality that stands like a standstill kind of threshold, that everything else around you is something nice and a beautiful addition to the cake that is you. And it can knock you, sure. Things can knock the cake. Things can make it wobble, you know what I mean? Things can hurt you, and it doesn't mean you're bionic or robotic. But the texture and the quality of you will not change, because this outside thing is not an ingredient that makes the cake. It's just something outside of it. It's not part of the ingredients. I think the last thing I want to say before we go into how to use it and what it means is a story, and that is when you hone the art of detachment, you can start to breathe light and gratitude into things that normally we don't.
Wow. Heavy stuff. Nobody is your answer. You are your answer. Well, I know a lot of people don't want to hear it put quite that way, but nobody can be your answer. You know, I've been saying this since I've been here and even longer. Your partner is the question. What comes up from your spirit is the answer you've always carried around within you, which is why I implore you to always be on the lookout for how you show up in intimate relationships. And sometimes detaching emotionally can provide a pathway to seeing yourself as you actually are. I don't think you can see yourself when you're wearing craving colored lenses. The lenses you're looking at your partner through are through the eyes of desire, through the eyes of craving. And as long as you're craving, you are manifesting lack. And I'm guilty. I've been doing it a long time. Man, we got people on the line. People want to talk. Let's get my man Eric from Annapolis back in here. He was answering a question for us. Can you break that down?
Yes, about healing. Healing is about, from my definition and my perspective, is about offering yourself solace and grace and self-acceptance. Like you say in your book, bro, self-authorship. The ability to transform and recontextualize your truth from self-awareness of who you truly are. And yes, we all go through hurt, we all go through turmoil, but it's like healing or detachment or however we perceive relationships. It can be very complex for some, but also very simple for some, depending on who you're talking about and how you go about it for real. Is it possible? Absolutely. I'm trying to get to the point of detaching from all my relationships in my life, from my mother, my grandmother, my female relationships, my male relationships, but also do it with love as well, and learning a different form and teaching other people to detach, but still loving them in the same concept, which is foreign to them because they're looking at me like, how can you love me? How can you care about me when you're detaching from me or you're getting away from me? It's like, no, sometimes I need to step away to rebuild so we can restructure this relationship to have a better infrastructure moving forward.
I love it. Eric, Annapolis, Maryland, listen, call in anytime, brother. You got a seat at the table, brother. I appreciate the insight. If you want to bring your city in the building, you know the deal. All you got to do is call me. 1-800-920-1580. The voice of reason is on fire. Eric just cooked the whole meal. Tonight's topic, I've got to protect me first. We're looking at detachment. I want to hear from you. This is a national conversation. We're all over the country. I want to talk to folks. 1-800-920-1580. Who's on next? Lewis, Omaha, Nebraska. Get in here.
What up, bro?
What's up, fam? How are you?
Hey, first of all, Zoe, I want to say I know without a doubt you had Bud for the fight. I know. You did. Didn't you?
I did what?
You had Bud to beat Spence.
Of course.
I know you did. You know why?
Why?
Because you know, bro. I'll tell you, brothers from Omaha always say Zomaha.
Zomaha.
Dr. Russell Harrison.
That's right.
Yeah, Dr. Russell Harrison.
That's right.
Dr. Russell Harrison.
That's right.
You know Omaha. See, people don't know. You know Kobe's mind. You know Jordan's mind. Mm-hmm. You are that guy, bro. So we made you an honorary Omaha. I want you, Bobby, Jeff, and Sarah to come out here and do a show with Dr. Russell and Bud.
Come on, man. I'll come out there. Let's make it happen. Let's do it.
I'm serious because, Joe, you know, when you talk about your frustration with being in this realm of life and people don't understand, that's what they don't understand because you love yourself so much, it doesn't matter that if you there or not, I'm going to love them anyway. And when you say, Doc, I call him Jay Kirsch because I messed up his name, he said, if I have lived my whole life and you ain't better, if I'm gone, then what did I live for? So, but, Joe, you've been telling these people this, and like the old girl from Jayville, you came there with a compliment and she said, what you mean by that? You played it smooth, but you didn't even, like you said, yo. So, but that's what that detachment is. Babe, I gave you a compliment and you cut it off right there. So you understand it with love. You did it with love, but you detached and you were still smooth on out. Not to say that you trying to play or smooth slicker. It's from my heart, from all the time. So let's keep this simple. 3 things, Joe.
Yes.
God gave me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change and the courage to change the things that I can and the wisdom to know the difference. Serenity is not what you feel after something. It's what you feel while you're going through it. That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I tell you know, for real though, Zoe.
Yeah.
For real though, I say that when a brother get mad at me, I say, forgive them, Father, for they not know what they do. For our people will perish for lack of knowledge of self. because if you know you are, you'll never argue with another. But I'm cool. That's what they don't understand. And they be like, you're not mad? Why should I be mad? Like you said, it's me. It's me. So even if you hurt me, then I would be like you if I tried to hurt you back, and I don't hurt nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I'm saying, Zoe. And let me tell you, you've been the master. So I see your frustration. Like, people don't understand when you say, I live these many lives. It gets frustrating when grown men in your lives seem like 2-year-olds. You know, you be like, damn, this is simple. I mean, I know you don't say that, but, you know, that's the frustration, that the freedom is knowing who you are. That's who Kobe was. That's who Mike was. That's who Bud was. You moved with Dr. Russell Harrison. Now, I bet you be lucky. You say, that Omaha cat is different.
He's different.
And that's what Bud is. They think he's like everybody else. But he's not.
Right.
And that's what, but you're not. I like the Pill Brothers. I like Black TT. You know that. And when you say that, they act like you disparage them by complimenting another brother. But there's certain brothers, you know, that Kobe, but you can say you want, there's only one brother at the top. And when it comes to this business, bro, you've been so smooth and you're so humble. And I came across you on a negative tip because I said, who this brother knock off that punk ass Aries Spears?
Oh, no.
But, if it had to, you see how the universe works?
Mm-hmm.
If it hadn't been for that, and you still feel bad about doing it, people don't understand. You said that was a demotion of my spirit, man. Don't give me props for that. But the universe led that F stuff we like to see. Cause he's like, whoa, this brother is like Bud when it comes to the podcast business.
Mm-hmm.
He's confident. He wish everybody well. You know, Bud he's that dude. He said, you know what, man, why do I gotta dislike him and this state? So other people, when they fight, they don't have to play all them silly games.
Man.
And this dude is out fishing right now, man. He took his PJ back. Because it was an Omaha day. There's an Omaha day. Bud fought on Omaha day. They didn't know that. Bud said, I got to get him out of here by 11 because my people in Omaha is partying on Omaha day. He was here. He did. He took the PJ and was in the club with us, dog.
Yeah. Well, listen, brother. I got to push forward, man. But, Lewis, let me tell you, man. You brought Omaha, Nebraska in the building. Listen, you can call in anytime, man. I'm on every day. I love to hear from you, man. Thank you for the insight and the love. We appreciate you. Now, if you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me. Like my homeboy just called me, man. Lewis just called from Omaha, Nebraska. Bring your city in the building. We appreciate it. When we come forward, we going to New York.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Dominique DePrima here. Listen, engaging kids in conversations about finances can be a great way to teach them about money management and financial independence. You don't need to review accounts in detail, but simply having an intentional conversation can really go a long way. Let's talk to them about goals, using conversation starters like how to make decisions about saving and spending money, recycling black dollars. These conversations can help build a long-lasting foundation for a strong financial future. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives can help support you in reaching them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA. Congratulations to the dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Prothos-Stitt. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrew.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid. And we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Protecting oneself from a toxic relationship requires a combination of awareness, assertiveness, and intentional actions. Here's a comprehensive guide on how to safeguard your well-being and break free from toxic dynamics. You can do this, right, via detachment. Right? Sometimes it's easier to recognize the signs that will indicate whether you should leave a person or not by detaching from the emotions that you have wrapped up and intertwined, enmeshed with your expectations of them. Being able to detach allows you to pull back and look at things objectively, so you can see the signs, so you can recognize the signs. It's hard to trust your instincts when you're clouded by your emotions. Detachment allows you to pull back and observe your instincts without any filter. Right? We already talked about setting boundaries. Hard to set soundries, right? When you are clouded in your mind. You hear Yoda talk about it a lot on Star Wars. See, when he talks about clouded is the future. Difficult to see. Right? When you detach, you can also practice self-care, self-empathy, right? Detach from judgment, detach from shame, right? Sometimes you can't seek help because your mind is clouded. When you get clear via detachment, you can go seek professional help. You know? This is heavy stuff, man. Very powerful topic tonight. Let's get our final caller in here. Yogi Fish from New York. Yogi!
Oh, it's me. Oh, hey, Mr. Zoe Williams, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm alive and well. Good to have you, brother.
Yeah, this is a very complicated subject because there's so many words that attach to the word detachment and distance and all those things. That's kind of confusing for me to figure out which one to apply. But I would say I'm a detached type person. not out of not wanting to be attached, but just protecting other people. So for me, it's a protection of others from me, not so much, a problem of me, but I tend to take on life on the edge, and it stresses people out. You know what I mean? So I try to be so that my way of life doesn't make other people feel inadequate or that kind of way. So in a relationship, I tend to be detached from wanting her to have to take on the challenges that I take on. Because I don't want her to. I can handle it, but I don't want her to have to handle those type of hard challenges.
No, I get it. I totally get it, and I respect it, brother. You know I got love for you. Yogi always coming in with another perspective, man. He's a New Yorker, man. The city's so nice they had to name it twice, man. Excelsior, man. We appreciate you, brother.
All right, Zoe, bro. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Always welcome. Listen, let me just tell y'all. I like to stretch your perspective. I like to stretch the way you see things. Because, like I said, a lot of times, man, we don't have these types of conversation. We think we're having these types of conversations, but we're really not. So I love fostering and curating this discussion. Again, many people who practice detachment, they're doing it out of self-preservation. They're doing it out of fear of abandonment or rejection. They're doing it maybe for personal growth. Hopefully they're doing it for personal growth. Maybe they're doing it because it's born out of an unhealthy attachment style. Either way, I think to take a conscious step towards doing it so you can see yourself, so you can look, right, objectively at things. I think that's where you take advantage of it. And I think it could give you a clearer perspective when dealing with other people. Because remember, and I know people don't want to hear this, as much as you think you know your partner, you don't really know your partner. They are largely a mystery to you. That's because they're largely a mystery to themselves, right? They know that there are certain areas of themselves that they're supposed to deal with, but what keeps them a work in progress is the fear of the pain that's going to be experienced when they start to peel the layers of themselves back. So if they're not doing that for themselves, they're definitely not going to do it for you, and they can never be trusted as being their true self. So when you decide to attach yourself to a person who is just still trying to figure out exactly who they are, if you apply any expectation to them, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. Let me just say this. As soon as my show concludes tonight, my television show, a brand new episode airs tonight. I want everybody that's listening within the sound of my voice, please download the Our TV 78 app. If you download the Our TV, OUR TV 78, if you download the app right now, what you're going to get is my show is going to pop up at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, my television show. It's called The Situation Shift with Zoe Williams. And when I tell you it's gaining popularity and traction, ain't no joke. Go check it out now. All right, up next, Jill Monroe, RSVP. She going to keep it lit. I'll see y'all tomorrow with another slapper. Deuces.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information